Hey traders, this is Chartman. We're looking at ONTC for September 9th, 2011. This is a weekly chart, and I'm actually going to show you two different charts, and we're going to take a long-term perspective and a shorter-term perspective in this particular stock. So what we've got here on the weekly chart, you can see we had a nice downwards trend here, and we broke out of it, and we had a beautiful run all the way from 0018 to just below 5 cents. So what we want to do first of all is find where our resistance area is. You can see that, actually bring this down just a little bit lower. See, we've got right around 4.5 to 5 cents, a lot of resistance. Notice there was a previous high back here as well, so that sort of is interesting because a previous resistance is retested here. We failed to break it, so we need to have a pullback. And what we can also see is basically support. Notice we tested this 3 cent area quite a bit and held it. We also had a brief dip here down to 0018, so we're going to put another support down in here, and we're basically going to call this a support area because you can see we had a lot of low points between 003 and 0018. So this is basically a general support area with a lot of support at the 003 area. So what we basically saw was a nice lift and a retest of our old resistance, and now we're seeing basically a fairly volatile retrace from the highs. You can see that we have very sharp pullbacks and then big runs and then huge dips and then runs, and we're kind of making this zigzag pattern of a retrace. So we can see it's moving in a downwards trend, and we can take a red resistance line and we can take a look at the high points, and generally every high point is going to be lower than the next one. So we've got this downward trend here forming, and you know, it's never hit every single time, but it's general, basically a general area. So you can see that we've got this general pattern here that whenever we come in contact with this red line, it basically pushes the price back down. Now we had some previous support right around 005. You can see we had some support here, and if we pulled it out a little bit further, you could see that it would have been a logical area for it to be tested here just the other week. Fortunately, we broke below the support, so we've come back down to our next support area, which is this support area right here. A lot of support, as I mentioned, at the 003 area, and you could see that we came down to 0034 and had a little bit of a lift from it. So it looks like we may be finding a new support area and getting ready for another launch up into the resistance trend. And if that's the case, then certainly we could have a really nice run on our hands, you know, anywhere into the 0.015 area. So this may be a great entry off of a bottom. So let's take a look here at a daily chart, and we can get a better short-term perspective of what we're looking at. So this is about the last 6 months of that weekly chart. That chart went back about 2 years, and this is just over the last 6 months. So you can see that sort of downward trend forming here. And this is a little bit easier to see where our bottoms are. And on down moves, what's interesting to notice is we need to pay attention to a few things when we're trying to find bottoms. We can look at volume, and we can look at the MACD indicator, which is our momentum indicator. And what we notice is that when in downward trends, the MACD lines are pointing down. And two things we can look at: when volume starts to increase in a downtrend, that can generally signal in a bottom because there's buying interest coming back in, and we can see a little bit of a run. So if we look at our bottoms, right here we saw volume start to come back in, and then the price popped up. The MACD didn't cross up, so it was just a short-term pop, and then we continued on our downtrend. Again here, on this day, on this is somewhere in early June where we hit a low of 0.023. We see volume came in, and then the price ran from 0023 to 0.0186. So basically you can see also some resistance up in this area. We set a high point, retested the high point on the next run. And again, where our volume dips down, or where our volume spikes up on the downtrend, we see another bottom right here on this day, and then the price goes on another run. And here right now we're in a downtrend. Now we're seeing volume come back in, and the price is getting ready to start to run up again. So we could be seeing a short-term bottom, and we could see another run up into the 2 cent area where we have some resistance. So from here, it looks like this is a great entry point, and we can see a very possible move up into here. Looking at the MACD lines, again, you can see where they cross. Also seems to be where the volume spikes. Here again, where the volume comes in, you can see the MACD line crosses right here, crosses upwards. And right here, as the volume's coming in, you can see the MACD lines are just starting to pinch, and we might get a cross, and that could signal a breakout and a nice run from here. So keep in mind, I am not an investment advisor, and so don't use this as any buy or sell signal. Thanks for watching, and happy trading.